Good morning. Welcome to All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church, a liberal faith tradition in Braintree, Massachusetts since 1833. As Unitarian Universalists, we covenant to affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of all persons as we engage in an ongoing search for truth and meaning. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you inhabit your body, and wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome into the life of this beloved community. My name is Ross Edwards. It is my pleasure to be your service associate this morning. If you are visiting us for the first time or would like us to reach out to you, please click on the link provided in the chat to submit a connection card so we may follow up with you. Everyone will remain muted during the service unless you wish to participate in the sharing of joys and concerns. Our services are recorded except for our shared joys and concerns and posted on our YouTube channel weekly. If you would like to activate Zoom's closed caption feature during the service, click the CC icon at the bottom of your screen and select Live Transcript. This feature will provide the text to all of our live reading. Please have a pencil or pen and paper handy for a brief New Year ritual during the service. After the service, everyone is invited to stay online to attend our virtual coffee hour. Our minister, the Reverend Beau will be leading our service today. Our chalice words this morning are by Lois and Leer. We light this chalice on the brink of a new year, letting go of what has been, open and hopeful for what may come, renewed, restored, ready to live life fully anew. May we move forward with intention.
We covenant to create a caring, affirming, and inclusive community that invites each of us to become our best self. We covenant.
Our opening words this morning are by Housden. Every great poem invites us to step beyond what we know, what we think we can dream or dare. Great poetry is a catalyst for change. A change of mind, a change of heart, a change of life. And yes, over and over, again and again, with each new reading and each new phase of our journey. That's why poetry is dangerous. It gives voice to our unspoken dreams. It is a mirror to our own deepest joys, desires, and sorrows. It can tip us over into a new life, into a new way of seeing and being that a moment ago we might even have not had words for. They can lead us into a more deeply lived and examined life. May it be so. Our opening hymn is "Come Sing a Song with Me."
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I may know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I may know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me, that I may know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I may know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
Thank you, Jacob and Kellie. 2021 was a year of many firsts in our nation's history. Kamala Harris was elected the first female person of color as vice president. Raphael Warnock was elected the first African-American senator to represent the state of Georgia. Kristen Clark became the first female person of color to serve as Assistant Attorney General for the Civil Rights Division of the U.S. Department of Justice. Kathy Hochul became the first female governor of New York. And Michelle Wu was elected the first female Asian American mayor of the city of Boston. A new president helped us grieve our losses from COVID-19 and promised to unify our country. He reversed legislation against our trans siblings, pulled our troops out of Afghanistan, appointed Merrick Garland as Attorney General of the United States, and ratified the American Rescue Plan to help our nation's economy recover from COVID-19. Vaccines became available for people of all ages. At the same time, 2 rampant COVID variants emerged. And all of this, despite the start of the year on January 6th, with a political insurrection and violent occupation of our nation's capital by supporters of an outgoing president who tried to overturn the election. It was also the first time in our nation's history the House voted twice to impeach a single-term president. Police officers were fired or convicted for the wrongful deaths of Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and Daunte Wright. June 19th was declared a National Day of Independence to commemorate the end of slavery in the United States. The governor of New York was forced to resign for sexual harassment charges brought against him by former female government employees. And an 18-year-old Swedish woman named Greta Thunberg became a leader in the fight against global warming and has been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize 3 years in a row. It seems we have much to celebrate in 2021, thanks to the Black Lives Matter and the Women's Me Too movements. And who would have ever thought that we would see the day when aerospace travel became a civilian tourist attraction, or when we landed a rover on Mars. We also remember public figures who have died in 2021. Anglican Archbishop and human rights advocate Desmond Tutu of South Africa, Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh and husband of Queen Elizabeth, Colin Powell, first and former African-American Secretary of State, Olympia Dukakis, whom I loved most in her role as a trans woman and matriarch of Barbary Lane, a San Francisco haven for the trans community in the film series Tales of the City. Cicely Tyson, known for her portrayal of strong African American women in Roots, Sounder, Fried Green Tomatoes, and more. And our beloved Betty White, for whom I have no words. Talk to me during coffee hour, and we'll cry together. Major League Baseball player Hank Aaron, and beloved sportscaster for the Boston Red Sox, Jerry Remy. It has been a year. And let's listen now to 2021's inaugural poet, Amanda Gorman, as she shares her hope for our country in 2022.
May this be the day we come together. Mourning we come to mend, withered we come to weather, torn we come to tend, battered we come to better. Tethered by this year of yearning, we are learning that though we weren't ready for this, we have been readied by it. We steadily vow that no matter how we are weighed down, we must always pave a way forward. This hope is our door, our portal. Even if we never get back to normal, someday we can venture beyond it, to leave the known and take the first steps. So let us not return to what was normal, but reach toward what is next. What was cursed, we will cure. What was plagued, we will prove pure. Where we tend to argue, we will try to agree. Those fortunes we forswore, now the future we foresee. Where we weren't aware, we're now awake. Those moments we missed are now these moments we make, the moments we meet. And our hearts, once all together beaten, now all together beat. Come, look up with kindness yet, for even solace can be sourced from sorrow. We remember not just for the sake of yesterday, but to take on tomorrow. We heed this old spirit in a new day's lyric in our hearts. We hear it for Auld Lang Syne, my dear, for Auld Lang Syne. Be bold, sang time this year. Be bold, sang time, for when you honor yesterday, tomorrow ye will find. Know what we fought need not be forgot, nor for none. It defines us, binds us as one. Come over, join this day just begun. For wherever we come together, we will forever overcome.
My life flows on in endless song above its lamentation. I hear the reel, the far off hill that hears a new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It sounds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? What though the tempest round me rolls, I know the truth it liveth. What though the darkness round me close, songs in the night it giveth. No storm can shake my inmost calm, while to the rock I'm clinging. Since love prevails in heaven and earth, how can I keep from singing? Tyrants tremble as they hear the bells of freedom ring. When friends rejoice for far and near, how can I keep from singing to the risen sun?
shame undefiled. How can I keep from seeing? My life flows on in endless song of its lamentation. I hear the breath of far of him that is a new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It sounds that echoes in my soul. How can I keep from singing? How can I keep from singing? How can I keep from singing? How can I keep from singing?
Ring Out, Wild Bells by Alfred Lloyd Tennyson. Ring out, wild bells, to the wild sky, the flying cloud, the frosty light. The year is dying in the night. Ring out, wild bells, and let it die. Ring out the old, ring in the new. Ring, happy bells, across the snow. The year is going, let it go. Ring out the false, ring in the true. Ring out the grief that saps the mind for those who, here, we see no more. Ring out the feud of rich and poor. Ring in redress to all humankind. Ring out a slowly dying cause and ancient forms of party strife. Ring in the nobler modes of life with sweeter manners, purer laws. Ring out the want, the care, the sin, the faithless coldness of the times. Ring out my mournful rhymes, but ring the fuller minstrel in. Ring out false pride in place and blood, the civic slander and the spite. Ring in the love of truth and right. Ring in the common love of good. Ring out old shapes of foul disease. Ring out the narrowing lust of gold. Ring out the 1,000 wars of old. Ring in the 1,000 years of peace. Ring out the valiant human and free, the larger heart, the kinder hand. Ring out the darkness of the land. Ring in the life that is to be. Florence Noonan.
Each week we take time to share our important joys and concerns, so all of us might help carry the burden and join in the celebration. If you wish to share an important sorrow or joy from your heart, I invite you to unmute your mic, tell us your name, and briefly share. Or you may enter it in the chat, where it will be read aloud for you. So much undone. So much to do, so much to heal in us and the world, so much to acquire: a meal, a healthy body, a fit one, a lover, a job, a better job. Proof we have enough, and we are enough, just around the corner of now. And up against it, the reality of all that falls short and the limits of today. Let us honor those limits. If your body won't do what it used to do, for right now, let it be enough. If your mind won't stop racing or can't think of the word, let it be enough. If you are here, utterly alone and in despair, be all that here with us. If today you cannot sing because your throat hurts or you don't have the heart for music, be silent. When the offering plate goes by, if you don't have money to give or the heart to give, let it pass. The world won't stop spinning on her axis if you don't rise to every occasion today. Love won't cease to flow in your direction. Your heart won't stop beating. All hope won't be lost. You are part of the plan for this world's salvation. Of that I have no doubt. The world needs its oceans of people striving to be good, to carry us to the shores of hope and wash fear from the beachheads and cleanse all wounds so they can heal. But oceans are big, and I am sure there are parts that don't feel up to the task of the whole some days. Rest, if you must, then, like the swimmer lying on her back who floats, or the hawk carried on cushions of air. Rest in your living rooms made to hold weary lives in space carved out for the doing of nothing much but being. Perhaps then you will feel in your bones, in your weary heart, the aching, healing sense that this is enough. Even this. That we are enough. You are enough. May it be so.
May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well.
I love that hymn. Our second reading this morning is by contemporary spiritual writer Mark Nepo. Since everything is sacred, staying close to what is sacred is a matter of presence and attention, more than travel to some secret place. In essence, staying close is a pilgrimage to the heart of where we are. Since it is we who lose our directness of living, our task is often to restore that freshness of being alive. Stories help us. They are teachers. They are medicine. They keep us connected to what matters. They keep us awake. And this has always been true of stories. The truth is that long before disciplines of knowledge were formed, long before degree programs were certified, the quandaries of living were addressed and carried forward in pouches of wisdom we call stories. And this morning we have a story on intentional living as told by Paul Coelho, called The Businesswoman and the Fisherman, presented to us by Linda Cozzens and Michael Domina.
Yeah.
There was once a businesswoman who was sitting on the beach in a small Brazilian village. As she sat, she saw a Brazilian fisherman rowing a small boat towards shore. Having caught quite a few fish, the businesswoman was impressed and asked the fisherman,
Come on, Linda.
as soon as he got out of his boat.
I'm sorry I was muted.
Go ahead, businesswoman.
How long does it take you to catch so many fish?
Oh, just a short while.
Then why don't you stay longer at sea and catch even more?
Well, this is enough to feed my whole family.
So what do you do for the rest of the day?
Well, I usually wake up early in the morning. I go out to sea and catch a few fish. Then I go back home and play with my kids. In the afternoon, I take a nap with my wife. And evening comes, I join my buddies in the village. For a few drinks, I play my guitar, sing and dance through the night.
Well, I'm a PhD in business management, and I could help you become a more successful person. From now on, you should spend more time at sea and try to catch as many fish as possible. When you have saved enough money, you could buy a bigger boat and catch even more fish. Soon, you'll be able to afford to buy more boats. Set up your own company, your own production plant for canned food and distribution network. By then, you will have moved out of this village to Sao Paulo, where you can set up headquarters to manage your other branches.
And after that?
After that, you can live like a king in your own house. And when the time is right, you can go public and float your shares in the stock exchange, and you will be rich.
And after that?
Well, after that, you can finally retire. You can move to a house by the fishing village, wake up early in the morning, catch a few fish, then return home to play with your kids. Have a nice afternoon nap with your wife. And when evening comes, you can join your buddies for a drink, play the guitar, sing and dance through the night.
Isn't that what I'm doing now?
Thank you, Linda and Michael, for that wonderful portrayal, sharing that story with us. In her article on living with intention, counseling psychologist Christiana Starr asks, are you living life, or is life living you? Living with intention means being wholeheartedly engaged in what we are doing and what is going on right here, right now, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Now, this might seem obvious, but especially when doing routine or familiar tasks like driving, doing laundry, or taking a shower, it's easy for our attention to drift into dwelling on the past or future, imaginary scenarios, or non-specific automatic mind chatter. When that happens, our awareness of what is going on and what we are actually doing is greatly reduced. We spend time in our heads rather than in the lived experience life has to offer. It's like we're living on automatic pilot and aren't even looking out the window. Jennifer Berger tells us, when we start replacing distractions with the things we love, we start living with intention. And Kate Covey explains it this way. Living with intention is different from setting goals or New Year's resolutions. Goals and resolutions push us out into future possibilities, whereas intention pulls us in to who we truly are. Deepak Chopra claims conscious change is brought about by two qualities inherent in consciousness: intention and attention. Whatever we focus our attention on will grow stronger in our lives, and whatever we withdraw our attention from will wither, disintegrate, and disappear. Meditation teacher Philip Moffitt says, in setting goals, the future is always the focus. Am I going to reach the goal? Will I be happy when I do? And what will be my next goal? Setting our intention, however, is the practice of being focused in the present moment. And we set our intentions based on what matters most to us. Like the fisherman in our story who catches just enough fish to feed his entire family and spends time with the important people in his life. The businesswoman in our story suggests he set goals to work harder, become richer, so he can retire comfortably in his old age. The fisherman realizes what he values most and prefers to enjoy the riches in his life now. When we identify and align our inner values with our worldly actions, we develop a greater sense of personal integrity and life satisfaction. Not unlike the Zen practice of washing the dishes.
There are two ways to wash the dishes. The first is to wash the dishes in order to have clean dishes. And the second is to wash the dishes in order to wash the dishes. If while washing dishes, we think only of the cup of tea that awaits us, thus hurrying to get the dishes out of the way as if they were a nuisance, then we are not washing the dishes to wash the dishes. What's more, we are not alive during the time we are washing the dishes. In fact, we are completely incapable of realizing the miracle of life while standing at the sink. If we can't wash the dishes, the chances are we won't be able to drink our tea either. While drinking the cup of tea, we will only be thinking of other things, barely aware of the cup in our hands. Thus, we are sucked away into the future. We are incapable of actually living 1 minute of life. So in keeping with the Gospel of Mary Oliver, tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one and wild, precious life?
This is an excerpt from The Invitation by Oriah Mountain Dreamer. It doesn't interest me what you do for a living. I want to know what you ache for, and, if you dare, to dream of meeting your heart's longing. It doesn't interest me how old you are. I want to know if you will risk looking like a fool for love, for your dream, for the adventure of being alive.
Blessed be. Thank you, Kellie. Each week we have an opportunity to give thanks for the blessings we have received in our lives and in the life of our church community. Our morning offering is a chance to give back in support of the work and outreach of our church. You may submit your offering electronically by following the link in the chat, or you may mail it to All Souls at the address also provided in the chat. At this time, our morning offering will be given and received.
Whose woods these are? I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep.
I invite us now to gather pen and paper, two small pieces of paper, if you choose to participate in this simple New Year's ritual. We pause on the threshold of another year in our lives to reflect on the past year and set our intentions for the new year. Let us begin by taking in a few deep cleansing breaths, like opening the windows of a seaside cottage to let in the crisp, fresh, open air. And when you're ready, I invite you to think about what you want to release from this past year, like the brown leaves of a tree in an autumn breeze. Name what is no longer life-giving. Identify the burdens of your heart you no longer wish to carry. The fears, regrets, failures, hurts, disappointments, anger, or mindless distractions that prevented you from living in the present moment. And take a few minutes now to write these down on your paper. And when you're done, fold the paper in half and set it aside. And let's breathe in and out again as we head into this next exercise. I invite us now to reflect on the future. Like tiny buds on the tips of new branches, what do you choose to nurture and bring forward in the new year? And take a few moments to write these down on a separate piece of paper. And when you're done, look back into the camera. Now let us take a few more breaths from the depth of our bellies through the soles of our feet. Now, traditionally, the paper from the first exercise is burned as a way of releasing the energy that prevents us from living our best life. If you have a safe way to do that, you certainly may. Otherwise, tearing it up or putting it through a paper shredder is a safe alternative. And as a reminder of how we wish to focus our attention in the new year, you might post the second piece of paper in a space that's visible only to you. Or if you live alone, in a space that's very visible, like the refrigerator or a mirror. And so, having named these parts of ourselves that we wish to let go and that we wish to embrace, I offer these words. May you release the burdens of your heart and move boldly into your one wild and precious life in 2022. May it be so. Our next reading is by John O'Donohue, and it's called Morning Offering. I bless the night that nourished my heart, to set the ghosts of longing free into the flow and figure of dream, that went to harvest from the dark, bread for the hunger no one sees. All that is eternal in me welcomes the wonder of this day, the field of brightness it creates, offering time for each thing to arise and illuminate. I place on the altar of dawn the quiet loyalty of breath, the tent of thought where I shelter, waves of desire I am sure to, and all beauty drawn to the eye. May my mind come alive today to the invisible geography that invites me to new frontiers, to break the dead shell of yesterdays, to risk being disturbed and changed. May I have the courage to live the life that I would love, to postpone my dream no longer, but do at last what I came here for, and waste my heart on fear no more. May it be so.
Howard Thurman reminds us, when the song of the angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flock, the work of Christmas begins. To find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among others, to make music in the heart.
Our closing hymn is We'll Build a Land. Thank you, Sandra.
Is Jacob going to share that?
Well, he didn't have sound with the opening hymn, so I think we'll just go with the title slide.
That sounds fine.
We'll build a land where we bind up the broken. We'll build a land where the captives go free, where the oil of gladness dissolves all mourning. Oh, we'll build a promised land that can be. Come build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may them create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land where we bring the good tidings to all the afflicted and all those who mourn, and we'll give them garlands instead of ashes. Oh, we'll build a land where peace is born. Come build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may them create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. Come build a land where the mantles of praises resound from spirits once faint and once weak, where like oaks of righteousness stand her people. Oh, come build a land, my people we seek. Come build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may them create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream.
Thank you to our beloved All Souls Choir and to Jacob. That was lovely. Our closing words are by D. Simone. May light always surround you. Hope kindle and rebound you. May your hurts turn to healing and your heart embrace feeling. May wounds become wisdom and every kindness a prism. May laughter infect you and your passion resurrect you. And may goodness inspire your deepest desires. May it be so. Happy New Year, everyone. As we extinguish the flame of this chalice, may each of us carry its light into every day of our lives. Blessed be. Ross?
Very good. I had to unmute myself. We would like to give special thanks to the participants in our service. Our virtual usher today was Linda Cozzens. Kellie Kinsman was our Zoom host. I was your service associate, Ross Edwards. Our readers were Maureen Crimmins, Michael Domina, Alicia Jerriman, Sandra Lingley, Mary Mitchell, and Linda Cozzens. Our musicians were Jacob Clapper, Shara Bariza, Glenn Thomas Rideout, Michael Domina, and Jess Huteman. Our minister today was our own Reverend Beau Rivers. Events at All Souls this week. Our connection circles, our regular connection circles, are Tuesdays at 3:30 p.m. for open conversation, and Fridays at 10 a.m. January 7th, holiday trivia. Our Music and Service Committee meets Monday, January 3rd at 6:30 p.m. Book discussion group is Tuesday, January 4th at 7 p.m. All may be accessed through the also Zoom network, which we are currently on. Are there any other additional announcements? We invite you to stay on screen for our virtual coffee hour coming up next. Thank you for being with us this morning, and have a great week.